Tonight on Pen the Writer's Utopia. Listen, I have an amazing treat for you guys. Not only do I have an author, baby, I got an artist too. And we're talking about the art of expression. What a juicy conversation we're about to get in tonight, and you don't want to miss it. So come on in. It's the Writer's Utopia, baby. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Pen the Writer's Utopia. Listen, I have an amazing guest for you guys tonight. I'm super excited to have her with us, right? But you know what we need to do. Go ahead, make sure you share this episode tonight because I promise you someone is going to be blessed by what is shared, all right? So, without further ado, I'm super excited to have with me tonight. She is an author, she is an artist, and she's the author of the book, The Re-Up. Baby, it's none other than Anique Ava. Welcome to the Utopia. Anique, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Look, I'm looking forward to our conversation. I'm gonna go and tell the audience now. She shoots straight from the hip, y'all. So you gonna get some good, but it might be that strong in your back. Can you handle it? Type of expression. But that is all about what we're talking tonight about is the art of expression, and sometimes that expression comes in many different forms. And so I can't wait to get into that with you. So first of all, you are the author of the wonderful book, The Re-Up. This is your freshman, and I say freshman because somehow I feel like there's going to be so much more you're going to bring forward at some point. Look at that face. That's like you see more than I see right now. But let's talk about the re-up for just a moment. Well, actually, no, before we get into the re-up, let's start with tell us a little bit about yourself so our audience can get to know you a little bit better too.
Okay, so my name is Anique. I currently reside in Virginia, but I'm from Connecticut. So that's where that kind of straightforward, blunt, shoot from the hip kind of comes from.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love art in all forms. And so I've kind of landed me in this place where I have written this book. It's funny that you say I have more. At the same time that I wrote this book, I actually started writing a devotional also. I'm about 9 pages away, but that 9 pages has been sitting there for a while. So that's like a little kick in the butt. Like I need to finish that as well. But yeah, I am very low key, laid back, try to stay to myself and put everything that I have inside me either on paper or on canvas.
Now, here's the thing though. So with you being an artist, I'm not surprised that you kind of hang back a little to yourself because I would say much like writers, artists are basically observers. You're always observing what's around you. And I always say, if you're talking, you're not listening. And so if you're talking and you're doing a bunch of talking and socializing, you're not always observing what's going on around you. So I don't find it surprising that you are, in fact, keep to yourself. As a matter of fact, I see some of your artwork behind you. I'm not going to make you show it because I'm pretty sure it is one of the pieces that we have here. So I want to go ahead and show. Look how beautiful her artwork is, guys. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What can you tell us, Anique, about some of the pieces that we have showing here? What was your inspiration behind them?
I think for pretty much all of them, my inspiration is either something that's happening in my life or something that God has given me. I like to pretty much everything that I paint is something that I've seen in a dream. So I never just say, I'm going to paint something. It's usually something that's very intentional. It could
Yeah.
be about things that are happening in the earth. It could be things that are happening in my life, things that God has shown me that's going to happen. And so that's kind of where that stuff comes from. Even with work I do for other people, I don't paint anything I can't see. So if I can't see it, I don't do it.
Now that's good. That's real good. Now I have a question for you. Well, it's a question and a comment. So for those of you guys that are watching and you're like, T Lynn, I thought this was all about the writers. Listen, as I was telling Anique when we first, as we were setting in pre-production, one thing that I believe is that even artists are still writers in their own right, because we as writers, we write. Look at that tongue twister, y'all. Still twisted up. Can't get my words right. But even with writers, we write with words, but we make our words give visual, right? That's the whole point, because when people are reading what we've written, we want them to visualize what it is or the story that we're telling and what it is that we're writing about. I feel like artists do the same thing. You give us the visual for us to put words to. You say things through the visual. And so I thought that this was a very great and interesting way to look at things tonight. And it's a little bit different than what we normally do here, but that's okay. Because again, I still see art as a form of writing. It's just the other way around. Instead of it being words painting the pictures give us the words. And so in saying that, there is a theme that I've seen in several of your pictures. As a matter of fact, the three that we put up, can we put those three pictures back up, guys? The three that we put up, right? There's a running theme. Yes, there's a running thing that I see in all of them, and that is the heart. Every picture I've seen of yours has a heart. In the first picture here, there's the nose, that's the heart. In the middle picture, we see the heart over the area of the heart. And then in the third picture, we have the heart as we know what it looks like in our body. What is the inspiration behind using the heart in your pictures?
That's a great question, because I did not think you were going to bring up the heart. But I think everything we go through in life ties back to matters of our heart, whether it's good, whether it's bad. And all of the paintings that you even shown or that I've done at all, alongside of a heart, the heart is always in every painting.
Yeah.
There is the girl. And so those two things God has given me to put in each painting to represent anyone. So some people are like, why is her hair blue? Well, whose hair is really blue unless they dye it? So it's one of those things where you can find yourself in any of the paintings to express whatever you have going on, and you can create your own narrative for it. So just because I paint a painting and I name it one thing and I see one thing because I know God has shown me one thing with it, you may look at it and see something different. And so that is the whole reason, inspiration, whatever behind the paintings, is so that other people can be inspired, not necessarily motivated, but inspired by it to do whatever it is they need to do. If it's writing a book, I mean, there's been people who have asked to do stuff so that, that I've done to use as their cover or whatever.
Right.
My goal is to help other people pull out what they have inside of them, whether it be through the book, through the art, through devotional, through whatever else is to come. I'm just literally following what God is telling me to do. It doesn't always make sense, but I'm just following along.
I love it. So the heart ties it all together. It's your way of finding yourself in the picture. I love that. I love that. I love that a lot, actually. So we've talked about the artwork, and we could stay there forever because you have some beautiful and amazing pieces. But and thank you, shout out to Alan, my man Alan watching. I saw that. I saw your comment, Alan. Thank you so much. Alan says all creatives belong on this show. That's my man. Thank you, Alan. Yes, all creatives belong and have a place here on Pen the Writers Utopia. It's I should call it the creatives in Utopia, right? So we all blend together. But let's get into writing your book. So this was your first book.
Yes.
What was it like writing your book or writing a book? Like especially being an artist. Now taking and going into writing, what was that like for you?
So to backtrack a little bit, when I wrote the book, I wasn't painting at that time. So my father was an artist. I grew up around art. Once I graduated from high school, I kind of stopped. So I literally haven't picked up a paintbrush in years. A couple years ago, I was in pursuit of purpose. And not to get in trouble or to say anything wrong, but I was at a place where I felt like those who were advising me on purpose were making it too complicated. And so I was like really struggling with a lot of things. And so I came to this realization that purpose is nothing more than your life every day. And so I sat down one day and I was like, I'm a dreamer. So I've had all these dreams about things that God is showing me that's to come, but I wasn't seeing it. And I was like, one of them was speaking and helping people based on things that I had been through. And so I was trying to prepare myself. And so in preparing myself, I came up with this theme, and it was the RE, so RE. And then it transpired to the re-up. And so I tried to make an easy way for anyone who has gone through something or who is going through something to get back on track. And so I literally was writing, it was like an outline. It was a basic outline of if I met you on the street, what would be my elevator speech to help you who were going through something and you needed help? What 4 things could I give you that you could walk away with that could help you? And from there, I literally just started writing. It just kind of like poured out. And that's how I came up with the re-up.
I love that. Yes. Hold on. Let me go back because I absolutely love that. You said this was my elevator speech for what I would say to someone to help them get through whatever they're going through.
Right.
That's amazing. To even sit down and have that thought of this is what this book, like you already went in knowing the purpose of your book, and that is phenomenal. I love that.
And the purpose being like just whatever you are walking through on a daily basis, you know? And so I have always been a person who wants to help other people. So it was all about helping others rediscover their value despite what they went through. And that's kind of the theme of the book. And the way to do it are those 4 chapters that are in the book to help push everyone forward and using my story to help them. To show them, you know, you're not alone. You're not the only person that's been through this, and you can make it.
And I definitely feel like that's important because for me, growing up, I would always say, you can't really help me if you've never been through it. You can give me surface advice, but when you're really going through the throes of life, especially as you're getting older, and like you were saying, you're finding your purpose, you're looking for your purpose, which I always say, if you look at the adversities that you faced in your life, you will locate what your purpose is. That's what that adversity will show you if you allow it to. It will show you what your purpose is. And so when you're going through that, one, you feel like you're all alone, like there's no one else out there going through what you're going through. It's just an automatic feeling because most of the time around you, you really are the one person going through what you're going through at that time, right? On purpose, because it's basically taking you out of your comfort zone by going through, to build you up, right?
Right.
So to be able to find someone that can help you with what you're going through, I don't want just surface advice, because sometimes the lessons that you go through and the things you go through are so much more harder that is like, no, you don't know what I'm going through. I need somebody to
Yes.
talk to me about the underneath. I need somebody that's going to tell me it's okay for me to cry and not tell me, no need, don't cry. It's going to get better. It's like, no, it's okay for you to cry. Just don't
Right.
cry past Tuesday.
Right.
You know what I mean? But talk to me in real terms and not just give me surface. So I love that. You do want to talk to people, and that's one of the reasons why I am inspired when I write. I said that I want my writing to do just that. I want to tell the stories that I wish someone had told me to help them get through what they're going through.
Yes. Yep. And it's more of that. And in addition to that, not more of that, in addition, it's that transparency piece, because in certain circles, that transparency isn't there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you need that advice, people aren't meeting you where you are. They're meeting you where they are. So it's like, oh, don't worry about that. It'll get better, and it's like, yeah, but let's address how I feel. Meet me where I am right now. I don't need the advice of you 40 years holier than thou, holy oil dripping off your forehead. I need you to come back to when you were going through whatever you were going through, because I feel like that's the relatability that people need. Because without that, people will feel alone. People will end up in mental health crises and stuff like that, because it's so much more than surface.
Yeah. And I was going to say, and sometimes people, not speaking for everyone, but I would just say sometimes I think people are uncomfortable being that vulnerable, because in order for you to be able to go back to that moment, you have to be vulnerable enough to say, let me share this with you. I've been through this.
Right.
And I know what this is like. And so you have to become vulnerable in order to do that. But on the other side of that, some people, there's a group that also don't want to talk about it because they're ashamed that they may still be facing a few things, or that they're still battling it. But what I always say is that at the end of the day, healing is a day-by-day, step-by-step journey. You guys that follow me and watch my shows, I say that all the time. It's a day-by-day, step-by-step process. And even after you've become healed, you're still going to have things that you're going to go through, because in life, you're always growing. And the things that you come up against are there to help you grow. Now, don't get me wrong. There's sometimes you can do things or make bad decisions that you just are walking out that bad decision. But if you're doing your best to make the best decisions you possibly can, things come along to help you grow. And it every day is a journey. That's what I'll say. And so if you're still struggling with things, that's okay too.
Yes.
As
Absolutely.
long as you're working on it. As long as you're working.
Acknowledging. Yep. You can't fix anything you don't acknowledge, that you don't address. If you just lock it up in the closet, it just sits there, and you never pull it out. If it's a dress, you never pull it out. You never know if it still fits you. It might be too small. It might be too big. It needs alterations. It needs all these things. And if you just lock it away, it's never going to be what it's supposed to be.
Exactly. So going back to the re-up, I know that I've read some of the book, and I know that it's, like you said, you also shared that it's telling your personal story and things that you've been through too. What are some of the greatest things? Well, no, I don't even want to ask what are some of the greatest things. What I want to ask is, in writing the book, your goal was to give something relatable to those that are going through.
Right.
Were you able to find healing in the process of you writing the book? Were you able to find something in it for you as well? Were you able to get something out of that process?
So for me, I feel like yes, but I don't know that I would have been able to write it if I wasn't in the process of healing or close to being healed. In it, there was a lot of things that I had forgot when writing it. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that I that came to mind that I just forgot about. And so it was interesting bringing that stuff back up, and just being able to re-look at it from a different perspective especially if it was things from my childhood as an adult.
Yeah.
So in that process, and I mean, for me, that was good. Some of it, tear jerker a little bit here and there, but it was good to know that, to see how far you've come,
Yeah.
and to know that for me, every fall, every adversity, every trial, those are the things that I feel like made even the book. They're the things that even made me to be who I am today. And so reliving those and going back through those is always important to me. I always say I never want to forget the pain I felt when I went through X, or I never, and not because I want to live there, but because I want to make sure I remember for the next person who's coming along, so that a greater level of compassion is there. It's not just, oh, I went through it.
Like
It's,
that.
You'll be fine. No, go back to how you felt. And then, and again, meet that person where you are, where they are.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Yeah, that's good stuff, Anique. That's real good stuff. Yeah. So, we could talk about this all day because this is a great topic. And for those of you that are just tuning in, thank you so much for watching. I'm talking to Anique Ava, and we're talking about the art of expression. And right now we're discussing her book, The Re-Up. Now, what I would like to ask you is, in writing your book,
Yes.
what were some of the great, I'll call them nuggets of wisdom that you might have gained as just in the process of writing that you would be able to share with some of our viewers that are attempting to write their book for the first time? What are some golden nuggets that you would like to share with them about the process?
I think number one, just being true to who you are, your words, how you speak, how your tone, how you want to relay things. Don't try to sound like anybody else. Sound like you. Another thing that really helped me was, I did a basic outline, and just staying to that outline so that I didn't go astray too much. Because sometimes when you're writing, if you don't have the main topics that you're trying to hit, it can get a little crazy.
All over the place.
And when that happens, you kind of like lose track. So creating that outline, sticking to it. Another thing that probably helped me is, again, the purpose piece. What is it that you're trying to relay? And staying to that. It's the same as if you were in a nonprofit and you were a grant writer. You're not going to write grants for stuff that you're not doing. You should be writing grants for stuff that you are doing. So keeping to whatever you're trying to relay.
Your lane. That's what I call it. Sticking to your lane.
Basically. And just knowing that and being confident, even if you don't think nobody's going to read it. Stay confident in what it is that you're writing, what you want to tell the people, and being yourself.
Absolutely. I love that. I feel like at the end of the day, and I remember this when I was doing a few screenwriting programs, and I remember an advice that someone in the industry gave us, and that was, you either write to become rich, and you'll get rich, but it won't have any longevity. But if you write because you have purpose, and you write because you want to have a career in writing, or, have some longevity, in this case, I say writing for your purpose, it'll give you more longevity, and it'll mean way more to you than the money that you get. While the money is nice, if you chase your purpose and you're writing out of that being the thing because you have something to say and something to share, it'll be such a different experience. And you'll even have a different experience when you do get the money that comes along with it.
I agree.
So definitely, that's some good advice there. That's some good advice. But it has been such a fantastic time talking with you. I see our time is winding down, but before we go, how can we display some of your pictures now? Is your artwork for sale? Let's start there. Is your artwork for sale?
So prints are for sale. I have a website. It's www.thereupcollective.com. And so I do
Okay.
prints. I also, some of the prints or the images you see, I sell on merchandise. So hoodies, things of that nature. I've also helped a lot of, artists that are coming up with book covers. So cover art, back cover art, illustrations. So I'm just trying to touch on a wide range of ways that people can express themselves, whether it be through you have your book written and you just need a picture and you can give me a breakdown of what it is. And if I can see it, I can do it. Or I have my prints and things available as well.
Awesome sauce. So your book, is that too available at the reupcollective.com? If someone wants a hard copy, because I know you can get the Kindle, you can get a Kindle version at Amazon, but I
Yes,
always like to support my creatives. I always say Amazon is great. However, if you have an opportunity to support the author or the writer directly, it's
yes.
always great if you'll go directly to their site to pick up your signed copy of your book. So can people also purchase your book at the reupcollective.com as well?
They can. Yep. And also my IG handle. So the Riet Collective is also my IG. You can click the link in there and it'll bring you to my Shopify account where you can purchase the book and you will receive an autographed copy.
Awesome. Amazing. Listen, we've given you several different ways to support my sister friend tonight. I'm so grateful that you joined me tonight. This has been a great conversation. I told you it was going to be easy going. And I know you've given some tips for our writers as far as writing their first book. But now it's time for our final nugget of wisdom. And is there one more good nugget of wisdom? Hello, little mama. Is there any one good nugget of wisdom that you would like to leave our viewers with tonight before we go?
Yes. Honestly, it's just be true to who you are. I feel like sometimes fear is birthed in trying to be like someone else or how you feel other people want you to be or based on what you see. And I think people should just be their self.
Yeah, just be you. And you said that earlier too. You said write in your own voice. I'm a big fan of that. Write in your own voice because that's what people will be able to relate to. Don't get me wrong. You still want to go get it edited and cleaned up, right? Because we want it to be
Absolutely.
professional. But write in your own voice. Tell your story in your own way, and then let the rest be worked out in editing. Be
Absolutely.
yourself. I love that nugget of wisdom. Remember, you guys, you can go on over to the reupcollective.com to get to view her array of prints as well as to get a copy of her book, The Re-Up, right? And again, that's by Anique Ava. We are so grateful that you joined us tonight, Anique, in the Writer's Utopia. You've dropped some great gems and you have been such an inspiration to us tonight. And Utopia family, you know what we do. We go ahead and put the hand clap in the comments so that Anique can feel the love. If you have been blessed by what she shared or inspired tonight, make sure you put the hand clap in the comments so that she can feel the love, okay? Well, that's it, you guys. This has been yet another wonderful, insightful episode of Pen the Writer's Utopia. Listen, if you're not tuning in, baby, if you missing it, you just missing it because we've had some fantastic people come along and grace our Utopia room, okay? And so if you don't want to continue to miss them, especially when they're live and you can interact with us live, then you might want to go and make sure you subscribe to this channel, click the bell so that you'll be notified when we go live. Yes. Make sure you click the bell so you're notified when we go live. All right. You've received some great knowledge and wisdom tonight, some great inspiration. Now, I encourage you to do what you need to do and go write something great. All right. I'm Lynn Tate, and this has been pen The Writer's Utopia. You all have a fantastic week, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye bye.